it's Lindy from Stitch and Lindy. I'm doing a recipe tonight. This is, as promised, it's a vegan recipe, but I am kind of going with the punches of what I have. So my recipe isn't actually 100% vegan. I'm just using what I do have in the house. So I will post the link that I found on Pinterest for the full vegan recipe, but it is a mushroom stroganoff. So here's the recipe. Okay, so here are the ingredients. So you need rotini. If you are not doing fully vegan, you can use egg noodles as well. You got mushrooms, a white onion, garlic, some salt and pepper. I'm using the pink Himalayan salt. The recipe calls for a vegetable broth or a vegan broth. I have chicken stock on hand, so that's what I'm using today. Some Dijon mustard, some white cooking wine, sour cream if you do have a vegan alternative, then by all means, and also a little bit of flour. So that is the ingredients you will need. Okay, so your first step, this recipe calls for adding 2 tablespoons of the broth to your pan, and that's what you saute your onions and garlic in. So I have half of a white onion, and I put 4 cloves of garlic in here. It does call for 6, but 4 was quite enough for me. And you can add a bit more broth if it starts getting drier. So mine's starting to get a bit dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more broth now, just a tablespoon at a time. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt at this time to kind of bring the natural juices out of the onions. Okay, and I've added our mushrooms. So I've added 10 ounces of mushrooms. I actually weighed them, and it ended up being half of a pack, the large pack, the 454 grams. So it's roughly half of that, probably a whole small pack that you get at the grocery store. So you just slice those. And I forgot to mention when I first started this was make sure that you are using a deep enough pot, because this is a 1-pot recipe. So make sure that you do have enough big enough pan or a deep pot. And I also seasoned, once I added the mushrooms, I seasoned again with salt and pepper. Something I heard years ago in a video that I watched was season after every step, and it just hit me like, that makes sense. So season after every step as you're going in any recipe. So you're just going to saute these mushrooms until they're soft, and then we'll be back for the next step. So the next thing you want to do is you want to sprinkle 3 tablespoons of flour over the mushrooms once they've softened, and you're just going to mix that around, and then you're going to add in half a cup of your white cooking wine or a vegan cooking wine. Okay, and after you've cooked that for about a minute, I forgot that you actually do need soy sauce as well. So you add in 2 teaspoons of soy sauce and half a teaspoon of the Dijon mustard. You're going to mix that together. This will look like a paste. It is thicker because of the flour, but that's what thickens your sauce. So you're going to add in your broth next. So you just want to cook this just a little bit. Okay, and you're slowly going to add in your broth. You want to add in 4 cups. So one of these cartons is perfect. You can use, I only have chicken stock on hand, but if you have a vegetable stock or a vegan beef broth, and you just want to slowly add it, the 4 cups, and just continuously stir, and make sure that you are scraping the bits off the bottom to add for the flavor. So go ahead and slowly stir in the 4 cups and just continuously stir. Okay, so we've added in our 4 cups of broth, and I've just seasoned it again with some salt and pepper. You're just going to let this start to boil a little, and then you're going to add in your 8 ounces of your pasta, whether you choose the rotini or the egg noodles or a vegan noodle of your choice. So you're just going to add in 8 ounces of pasta into this. Okay, so we're just going to add in our pasta. So this is 8 ounces of pasta or 3 cups. Okay, so you're adding that in, and you're just going to let this start simmering. And you're going to let it simmer until your pasta is cooked, and all of the starch will combine into the sauce and thicken it naturally. So we'll be back once the sauce is thickened and the pasta is cooked. Okay, so the pasta has all cooked through and the sauce has thickened a lot. You want to make sure that you are stirring this, because this pasta can stick to the bottom, but as you can see, it really thickened a lot. Okay, so once this is all thickened and the pasta's cooked through, you want to take this off the heat and you want to add a little bit of seasoning again, some salt and pepper, some fresh parsley if you want, or some thyme. But take it off the heat and you're going to add in half of a cup of your sour cream or a vegan option. So I was looking up while I was waiting for this to cook a vegan option, and you can add in either a vegan cream cheese, or you can add in a cashew butter. So there's a couple different vegan options that you can use if you would prefer not a vegan sour cream. But I'm just adding regular 5% sour cream. So half of a cup you're gonna add. Okay, and there it is. So that's the recipe. I hope you guys like it. It was actually really simple, and this could actually very easily be made into an option that's not vegan. I would actually add some ground chicken into this. It's actually really good. This is probably the best stroganoff that I've tried. So all in all, very simple, pretty basic ingredients other than the cooking wine that most people have on hand. There were a couple ingredients that were in the recipe that I did leave out. I didn't have thyme and fresh parsley, but I don't feel that you needed it. Just make sure that you're seasoning along the way, because I do find that stroganoff tends to be lacking in flavor, so make sure that you are seasoning along the way. I did point this out for what I use. Make sure you are always pointing out with whatever ingredients you're using yourself. And the recipe on Blue for getting 4 servings out of this was 9 points. So it is a bit higher because it is the pasta and the sour cream make it higher. But for a pasta dish, I don't find that too much, and I find this is more filling, especially with the sour cream in it. It does bump it up. If you did add your ground chicken in it, that adds to it as well to be more filling. So that's my recipe. I do hope you guys like this recipe. As always, my handles are at the bottom, Stitch and Lindy on Connect, and my Facebook group is Stitch and Lindy's Weight Loss Journey. Thanks for watching.